Today I'm going to be talking about a new law in Utah that just went into effect. It's called HB 60. It's a water use law and also who gets to use it. The last video was about a Stratos AI data center out in Box Elder County in the Hansel Valleys. Well, it seems the Stratos AI data center pulled their permits for water usage on May 5th, 2026. But let me tell you folks, this rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper. Utah State Representative David Schallenberger from Orem, who has worked for 20 years at Synergy Companies, a business that helps cities conserve water, is the one who sponsored the bill. And get this irony, Synergy Companies was founded by his own father. So Representative Schallenberger sponsored this bill while working for his father's water conservation company. Folks, you can't make this up. Schallenberger and his co-sponsor, Kevin J. Stratton, claimed this bill was needed to reduce the workload on the state's engineering office because they were getting way too many protests. But let's be real. Let's take a look at what this bill is really about. Before HB 60, the state engineer could look at the big picture of things. Is a new project like a big data center going to hurt the public in any major way? For example, will it contribute to the drying up of the Great Salt Lake, thus hurting the air quality here? Or will the project damage the environment in any other way? To any of these, she could say no. This project is bad for public welfare and completely reject it. But HB 60 took that broad power away. Now the hands of the state engineer are mostly tied. She can only look at very narrow and technical things such as, is there actually enough water physically available? Will this hurt someone else's water rights? Is the quality of water okay? Is it beneficial use of water? If those boxes are checked, she generally has to approve it, even if the project will clearly hurt the lake, create toxic dust, or be damaging to the environment. So this is a simple way to look at it, folks. They basically told the state engineer this: your job is no longer to protect the public's overall interest in water. Just check these few technical boxes and stay in your lane. And this, folks, is what has a lot of people extremely upset. The main person whose job was to protect Utah's water for the people no longer has the power to do so on big environmental or public issues. Folks, we have to have a good look at some key dates here. Representative Schallenberger introduced HB 60 on January 20th, 2026. It then passed the House 54-17 and passed the Senate 18-7 on February 20th. Governor Cox then signed it into law March 25th, and it became active on May 6, 2026. Just 2 months before Representative Schallenberger introduced the bill on March 25th, the Stratos AI Data Center filed a water change application for water that is agricultural use to industrial use. That's for the natural gas power plant at the Stratos AI Data Center. This 1,900 acre-feet of water was flowing from the Salt Well Spring. It was originally approved in 1904 for Bar H Ranch. Let me explain exactly how much 1,900 acre-feet of water is. It is equal to 1.7 million gallons of water per day, which is enough to fill nearly 100 residential swimming pools every single day. When thousands of Utahns protested on March 4th, 2026 and filed nearly 4,000 objections, the Stratos AI Data Center completely pulled their application on May 5th, literally the day before the new HB 60 law took effect. However, since that law has passed and is now active, they plan to resubmit their application if they haven't done so already. Now, I have to say this and be clear. Even though HB 60 does not directly violate the Utah Constitution, well, at least not in any way that's been ruled unconstitutional yet. However, like myself, many critics argue it goes against the spirit of the Constitution and the state law's intent. Utah Code 73.1.1 states all waters in the state are hereby declared to be property of the public. Corporations, folks, aren't public. The Utah Constitution, Article 17, recognizes and confirms existing rights for the beneficial use of water, which means the state is supposed to act as a trustee managing the water for the benefit of the public, not just whoever can grab it. Bottom line is this. Critics say HB 60 undermines the idea that water is public property and is supposed to be managed for the people's overall benefit. However, HB 60 is all about and pointed toward our supposed government leaders, making it much easier for big corporate entities to get Utah's precious water, even when it clearly harms the broader public interest. So what all this means, the public is once again undermined, folks, and the data center gets this water. With the current historical drought in Utah and the aquifer being pumped from the Salt Well Spring, the Great Salt Lake's bed will become further exposed. If the lake bed continues to be more exposed, it will create even more toxic dust that contains arsenic and heavy metals than we already have. According to the Utah Department of Health and DEQ, they say that the wind blowing across the drying Great Salt Lake's bed will create even larger dust storms that will further contribute to PM 2.5 and PM 10 pollutants. These can trigger asthma, lung inflammation, and other respiratory problems. However, and unfortunately, as of yet, the studies do not show a hard number of people who have gotten sick from the GSL dust. Another thing that should anger you, these big corporations are being handed massive amounts of water. Like I stated, almost the amount of 100 swimming pools a day. While all of us regular Utah families are constantly being told we have to conserve water, slow the flow, and we're recommended taking showers of 5 minutes or less. And even more, we're being urged to convert our turf to water-wise landscaping or otherwise just let it go brown. We are told we can only water our yards a couple of times a week, if at all. Cities like North Ogden, Syracuse, Layton, Kaysville, and Salt Lake City have already imposed $100 to $1,000 fees for what they call water offenses. The Weber Basin Conservancy District and the Pineview system, which covers most of the other northern cities, have water use violations that go from $250 to $1,000 for the average homeowner just wanting to water their grass and garden. Statistics show 80% of us Utahns already changed the behavior to conserve water, primarily by watering our lawns less and not even growing a garden anymore. Folks, tell me how any of this makes sense. When ranchers use that water for their crops, roughly half of it returns to the ground, recharging back into the aquifer. But with a data center and its power plant using it, almost every single drop of that water will never return anywhere. It will be forever gone. Folks, this isn't about conservation. This is about a two-tiered system. One set of rules for big companies with political connections, and the other set of rules for us, the Utah people. Again, this isn't only happening here in Utah. This is happening in almost every single state across the country, right behind your backs and right under your noses. If this is making you angry, folks, please do all the YouTube things, smash the like button and share the video. If you're tired of watching the water get sold off to big corporations and our government doing things to only serve themselves, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications, because we're going to keep posting videos of the corruption and the misrepresentation of the voters. Remember, folks, Article 1, Section 2 of the Utah State Constitution states this: all political power is inherent in the people, and all the governments are founded on their authority for their equal protection and benefit, and they have the right to alter or reform their government as public welfare may require. Folks, we have to make our so-called government officials remember just who they work for. That's we the people. Thank you, everyone, for listening.